What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I am joined by Degenerate Jay. And Jay and I have been together, and we've done Kingdom Hearts videos many times before, both on my channel and on his channel. So to start off by saying this, make sure you guys are supporting both of us. Obviously, subscribed here, have the bell icon turned on. Yes, I am still doing Kingdom Hearts stuff. I've taken a little bit of a break from Kingdom Hearts. As you can see, there's not a lot going on with Kingdom Hearts, but Jay has also talked about it. A massive, massive fan of Kingdom Hearts. Again, we've had some really nice talks in the past on both channels. His stuff will be in the description, as well as a pinned comment, his main channel and second channel. Jay, thank you so much for being on this video with me.
Hey man, thanks for having me. It's always fun to talk Kingdom Hearts.
And always confusing. And this one is not going to be, honestly, very confusing. So Jay and I have talked about the future of Kingdom Hearts. I know I've talked about it also just like by myself before. And we've gone through a couple possibilities for what the next game would be. We've gone through the whole, ringer of Kingdom Hearts 4 or a Birth by Sleep 2 or Dream Drop Distance 2. Again, some of those videos are on Jay's channel. Some of them are here. And we've had all those talks. We've heard Nomura talk about, obviously, the anniversary of Kingdom Hearts and talk about, 2022 obviously is going to be a very, very big year, 20-year anniversary. But could we get anything this year? So to get it out of the way first, and so that's what this video is going to be, by the way, where Jay and I are going to kind of just talk about what we could see happening this year in Kingdom Hearts land. But one thing I do want to say that's to kind of tamper expectations is we're not going to talk about Dark Road or Union Cross. Yes, we know there's stuff going on with those all the time. They still get updates, and I have been asked by people to do stuff on it. We're going to take a back seat on that stuff, at least for now. So it's not counting the mobile stuff, although obviously I think they will have support in 2021. I know at least you guys have always told me that. So Jay, I want to pitch you this. This is an idea that I've had. This is an idea I've said on past videos. I don't know if we've ever gotten your thought on it, but to me, 2021 is almost actually kind of easy when it comes to Kingdom Hearts. I don't think we get a main game in 2021. It's the first time, actually, if you look at, the past couple of years, we've had Kingdom Hearts games, we've had 3 Kingdom Hearts games in less than 3 years. I don't think we get a major one this year. I think the major one will be next year, but I do think we get yet again, maybe the 18th, 19th, 20th, I've lost count at this time, collection. I do think this will be the year that we get one more collection to put together the Xehanort saga, as Tetsuya Nomura has said himself, into one group. Next-gen consoles, even current-gen. As to this point, you still can't get them all. Remind and Melody of Memory are now, obviously the last 2 additions to it, and there's still, and I say it kind of ironically, still no way of actually playing this game with all the other ones, even though, there is for the other games. So what do you think, Jay? You think there's going to be a brand new, like a main installment? Do you think we get more collections? What do you think?
Well, I really wouldn't be surprised if we see something on PS5. And what I mean by that is a collection of some kind, whether it is another story so far type thing, whether it is like Kingdom Hearts Phase 1. Phase 1's done now, right? I mean, that's a question I have for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Officially.
So Phase 1 ended with Kingdom Hearts 3, I thought, but what is Melody of Memory then? Is that just a epilogue to Phase 1?
So like 3 was supposed to be the end, and then Remind was kind of like, one last thing, and then Melody of Memory, I think officially falls into like Phase 2, but it's kind of like a gray in between one. It's the bridge, if you want to think of it like that. It's the bridge to Phase 2.
Yeah, so if they really wanted to, they could do something like Kingdom Hearts Phase 1 and include Melody of Memory as an epilogue. I don't know if they would, though, because Melody of Memory actually came out fairly recently. It was not that long ago in 2020 when Melody of Memory launched, so I don't know if they would want to take what is essentially right now going as a $50, $60 game and put it into a collection that would be about the same price. That would be the question. I think Kingdom Hearts 3, just my personal opinion, is done selling for the most part, and I only say that because everywhere I go, every Best Buy, every time I see it, it's on sale for $9.99. So I don't really know if they are getting sales anymore for Kingdom Hearts 3. I think a lot of the people who wanted it bought it. I'm sure some collectors will buy it later. But generally, that has gone and run its course. Melody of Memory is probably, hitting the tail end of running its course as well. I think they just stopped marketing for it recently. I was seeing game ads for it on YouTube and elsewhere on the internet up until about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And then it stopped. So I'm pretty sure they've kind of moved on from promoting Melody of Memory, at least from what I've seen in America. Those promotions run differently in other countries, and maybe it's still running in Japan. But eventually, I think that a PS5 remastered-ish collection would be very interesting to see. I just don't know if we'll see it this year. I guess if they didn't want to include Melody of Memory, I certainly could see it happening by the end of the year, where it's like, hey, listen, these games are mostly old. We updated them 4K 60 FPS or whatever, that you want to do fully like native. Okay, fine. Well, then maybe that works. But other than that, I don't really see us seeing much. I mean, the next mainline title in terms of numbered is surely years away. And in terms of spin-offs, I wouldn't be surprised if we got one in like 2022, but with no information on it yet, and it's February. That's kind of why I'm skeptical to see even anything like that outside of Dark Road and Union Cross.
Right. No, I totally agree. I think, well, at this point, it is funny. And again, we pick on this game in love. We're both really big fans of the franchise. But at this point, I think they've gotten pretty good at collections and upping things. I mean, they've done it they've done it quite a few times in many versions of consoles. So, and like Jay said, really, we have collections of different games already. The only thing you really have to tack on now is Remind and then Melody of Memory, and you already had all the rest. I don't think 3 as well, so you'd have to put 3 in. But after that, you're done. You have everything you need, and I think that looking to 2022, that would be again the year we probably get. And I agree with Jay. When I say like main installment, I just mean like a main entry. That's all I mean. I don't mean like a numbered one. And I do agree with Jay. I don't think Kingdom Hearts 4 is 2022, but I think the next big, that everybody's talking about, much bigger by the way than Remind or Melody of Memory, that game would come out in 2022. And I just can't see a situation where Nomura and Square Enix and all that stuff, where they pass up the opportunity to once again get people caught up in case they missed the story so far. Everybody remember that slogan? In case they missed that, I can't imagine they would just pass on that opportunity. He's going into 2022, new game, but you're going to need to know all the other stuff. And again, there's still there's some difficulties playing them all in one spot. I can tell you again, I've jokingly said it, I really have I know Jay's like a collection guy and he likes to have, the physical boxes and stuff like that. I have no need for yet again another collection of Kingdom Hearts. I've played them all. We've all played them all, right? But at the same time, I absolutely see its worth. I really, really do. I really do think this will probably be the year. I could imagine something along the lines of like a fall or a holiday kind of game. Just put them all together, honestly easy money, because you put them all together, you charge $60, whatever, charge $70. I'm sure they could start upping it just like everybody else does. Well, have us all play it, and then and maybe even you do something really cool with it where you do a tease to whatever the next game is. Now, Melody of Memory kind of is a tease, but still, like actually have some sort of epilogue that maybe leads into the next game. I do think we'll get more info on the future of Kingdom Hearts and that's kind of the last part I want to say. I'll give it back to Jay. I do think we're going to get the collection game this year, but I would not be surprised at all if we're talking about predictions of Kingdom Hearts in general this year. I really do think we'll hear more about, and which is, you could call that a cop-out answer, but I do think we'll hear more about the future of Kingdom Hearts this year. I think we'll probably get a better heading of what the next game is actually going to be. Will we see it this year? I mean, it's possible if the game releases January, February, March, April, sometime in that range of 2022, that would be something that we see this year. So we'll have to keep our eyes and ears peeled. Jay, any final thoughts on what you think we could see, even if it's just not a game?
Yeah, well, I have a final thought, but it's also a question for you real quick, and we won't go too much longer. There has been a lot of talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake recently. And how does that tie into this? Well, Final Fantasy VII Remake, obviously they are working on part 2. They have admitted that publicly, that they are continuing that, and it's at least, I'm sure, going to be a trilogy. However, there was more talk with a PS5 release and a PC release for Final Fantasy VII Remake, and not just a port, or I'm sorry, not just an update. It's already backwards compatible, not just an update, but a PS5 version, better graphics, stuff like that, along with a PC version being released. They'd both be obviously much more powerful machines running this game. And there has been a little bit of pushback to that, because it's like, well, this game came out already. I paid $60 for it, and it runs backwards compatible PS4 to PS5. Why would you make an improved port already for it for PS5? Why didn't you just release that? Or why wasn't that already, in the works, that kind of thing? There has been pushback with Square with that online. And I guess the question I'm getting at with you here, with Tetsuya Nomura, one, with his attention divided between multiple projects as always, because the man is a busy man, and also with pushback to that, do you think that there would be pushback to a re-release of the Kingdom Hearts games so quickly on PS5 versus waiting a few years, like maybe 2023?
I would definitely, I mean, me personally, I would have like a joking problem with it. But I do, I mean, because I don't like to upset Kingdom Hearts fans too much, okay, in any given video. But again, I really don't think some of it is necessary. And for a game like Remind literally it's not even a year old. Okay, it came out last February. So Remind, Melody of Memory, Kingdom Hearts 3 is just 2 years old. So yeah, and the funny thing with 7 Remake is they'll probably do it as a Game of the Year version. That way you do have to pay. That way it's not a free upgrade, right? We've seen games do free upgrades. For Final Fantasy 7, they would do a Game of the Year edition. They would do maybe bonus DLC. So you have to buy, like I have it, I know you have it, right? We'd have to buy it again. I don't think they would, I mean, Kingdom Hearts is different, right? Because they're just putting them all together. Of course, you'll have to buy them again. But yeah, I mean, people that like you said earlier, people who just got Melody of Memory, they just bought it in November. It just came out in November, and then they have to buy it again in part of the collection. It does get a little ridiculous. And I know I joke and I say 18, 19, 20 times this has happened, but I mean, this is what, the 4th or 5th or 6th? It's somewhere in that range of collections that they've done. They've done a lot of remaster collections. They've done a lot of collections in general. They've done collections for their collections. I mean, we're at like 5 or 6, so it is getting ridiculous. I do think people probably just want to move on to the next thing. It actually goes to the conversation that we'll have on your channel about remaking certain things, right? And we've talked about even on this channel. I think it's like, okay, just move on. Just give us the next thing.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm one of those people too, by the way, where if I'm a big enough fan of something, and I'm not trying to say that, well, if you wouldn't, you're not a fan. That I think that's disingenuous. But if I'm a big enough fan of something like Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy, and you're like, hey, look, this port's improved, it runs at 4K now, or like native 4K 60 FPS, or oh, look, we got the game running in 120 FPS. I don't think that'll happen, but I'm just saying some crazy technical update. Or, hey, we added in costumes to things. I am a bit of a sucker for that, and I'll totally admit that. Like, I would day one buy a PS5 version of Final Fantasy VII Remake because it's one of my favorite games in years. So I get why they do that, but I do think a large portion of the fan base is also like, hey, listen, I waited my entire childhood, and now I have kids, and finally Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, and I barely have time anymore for this stuff. What is taking you so long to move this franchise along? I think that's a valid feeling too, that a lot of people have as well. I guess that's all I really have for it. I don't want to, drag out your video, obviously. I just thought it was an interesting question, in terms of re-releasing stuff, how often they can do it without the fan base getting a little irritated.
No, absolutely. So let us know in the comments below, guys. What do you think? Would you play another collection, maybe the final collection for Phase 1 of Kingdom Hearts? Do you think we're going to get it this year? Do you think we'll get news on next year's Kingdom Hearts game? Whatever you guys want to talk about, let us know in the comments below. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed here, have the bell icon turned on. Obviously, if there's any news on this game or anything, going forward, I'll be sure to cover it on this channel. Again, while you're at it, make sure you guys check out Jay's stuff. His main channel and his Let's Play channel will both be in the description below, as well as a pinned comment. Amazing guy. Again, we've done Kingdom Hearts videos on his channel. I think we are going to do one kind of with this one, so make sure you guys are checking out his channel. Thank you, Jay, so much for being on this video with me.
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I think a lot of the people who watch my Kingdom Hearts videos funnel in from your channel. They're all very nice. So thank you for cultivating the audience that you have here that actually listens to us talk about stuff. I always appreciate being here and the discussion.
Absolutely. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you all on the next video.